Hey everyone, that's why he's the GOAT here. Today I want to talk about Blood Meridian by Cormac McCarthy. The setting of the book is during the Wild West, during British invasion on America where they're hunting down Mexican, slave black people and killing Indians. This is the time before any of these people started to think, are we the baddies? And in such a world, we are introduced to the kid, a nameless young boy who has only known violence. He can neither read nor write, and in him broods already a taste for mindless violence. All history present in that visage, the child, the father of the man. The kid ran away from home and eventually got involved with more violence. At first as a bravado, to act tough and feel tough. Then because it's the only thing he knows can give him respect, he started to enjoy it. It gave him pleasure. And eventually he did it just because. He'll get involved with the Glanton gang, a scalper gang based on the real-life Glanton gang. Then in there, he'll meet the terrible Judge Holden. The writing style in the book doesn't give any explanation to events and who people are talking. It really needs you to focus and pay attention to the writing. If you doze off during reading it, you can easily get lost on where you are or what happened. But it helped by how good the writing is. By cutting off unnecessary parts, it can progress the story much easily and scenes can play out as in real time. There are also a lot of Spanish language used during conversation, and none of them are translated for people who don't know them, but it adds to the unsureness of the narrative, especially since when it is translated, it's not translated by characters that you can trust, like Judge Holden. So it's also used to build tension, and it is such a good tension builder. I wouldn't be surprised if the writing in this series inspired movie director like Quentin Tarantino. The book can be difficult to read. As I mentioned, it needed your focus while reading it. It used sentences and words that have been unused in a long while. And as I mentioned also, it used Spanish language without translation. And the book is violent, even more violent than some war movies. I think the book is considered one of the most violent books if I'm not mistaken. But it is also considered as one of the best novels ever written. Read it is not only for knowing Judge Holden. Judge Holden is one of the most captivating villains ever written. There is something inhuman about his presence, how he talks, his size, how terribly pale and hairless he is. He might actually not be human, but the writing is so good it leaves us the reader a lot of room to interpret him. He might just be a very smart and cunning person. He might be the devil himself. He might be war or dead from the four writers. He is in such control of himself even on how he goes out of control. A lot of well-written villain characters took a lot of inspiration from him or at least resemble him in some parts, like Joker for example. There's a quote by Judge Holden that really embodied me very well. If God meant to interfere in the degeneracy of mankind, would he not have done so by now? Wolves call themselves man, what other creatures could. And is the race of man more predacious yet? The way of the world is to bloom and to flower and die, but in the affairs of man there is no waning, and the noon of his expression signals the onset of night. His spirit is exhausted at the peak of its achievement. Each meridian is at once his darkening and the evening of his day. He loves game, let him play for stakes. This you see here, these ruins wondered at the tribe of savages. Do you not think that this will be again? Aye, and again, with other people, with other sons. That's about it.